There's one survivor trick you can do that can save the entire match from everybody dying in the basement. We were playing a game the other day, and there was one of those scenarios where there's 2 people in the basement. We're not on communications. We were trying to figure out how to get down there and try to get everybody out of the basement. Obviously, we were not on communications, so doing this was going to be a little bit rough, and somebody was going to have to do some type of play running down the stairs. Now, the interesting thing was, I thought this type of play was common knowledge, but there's a few people in chat telling me that day that they had never seen that before, so I was like, hey, I'll just make a video and see if it saves anybody else their game they're playing. So this is a really niche scenario that can happen, but it is also riskless. It's not like you're going to knock it and unhook or something like that. But say you have enough distance from the killer where if you go to unhook somebody, they can interrupt you and you're going to end up having to trade. That is when you can go do a fake unhook. Now, this happened the other day where it literally saved the entire game. The other person went the other way, and once again, we were not in communication, so you have to just try to run and hope it's going to work out. Once the killer turned to the other person, ran past the killer. They saw me run past to try to get down the stairs. Now, when I ran past them, they started chasing, and I turned the corner, and there was somebody on the front hook and somebody on the back hook. Now, you act like you're going to unhook on the front hook, and you get yourself in that position to fake them out into it, and then you let go and then try to go to the other one. Or if they were the only hook, you would let go, let them miss, and then get them off while they're in their cooldown. But in this specific scenario, they missed from their whiff since we had faked out from the unhook, where you literally just act like you're unhooking. Not like you don't do anything. They're on the hook, you press the button to unhook, you go into the animation like this, and then you let go to get out of the way, and you can unhook. But in this scenario, we ran back to this one and got them off. The other teammate we had came down the stairs and got the person on the front hook off all at the same time. So we got everybody out of the basement. Hey. Yeah, it worked! The fake unhook works. I love doing that. But I hadn't realized that a lot of people hadn't thought about making that play before, where you start your unhook for a little bit and you have to sell it. You can't just like not do anything at all because they're not going to swing. They have to see you in your unhook animation so that they think they have to swing to break it or they're not going to get the trade they want. And you're trying to avoid the trade. So you sucker them into it and then you step to the side and get everybody out. Now that doesn't just have to happen in a scenario where the basement. I've had other scenarios where somebody's dead, somebody's on the hook, and somebody else just got slugged as I'm going for the unhook this way, and here comes the killer. Same thing. You can run right up to the hook, start your unhook animation, the killer swings, you can get to the side and then get the unhook without actually having to trade and try to make it away. But your weapon is so much bigger, so it stuns them, so you get the second hit. That's what I mean by a cheap second hit. Oh fuck, I'm already here. Did it work? Yes! Let's go! I love when that works. The fake unhook. This can't even work in scenarios where you're playing against, say, a one-shot killer like a Billy. Yeah! I don't know if it's gonna work though. Or even the same type of scenario where you're injured and you wouldn't be able to get the unhook, but you're already too close. Because if you're injured and you're in the unhook area, if you go down, you're basically 2 hooks. You'd want to not sit there recovering. You'd want to crawl away first. Because if you sit there recovering, the killer has 2 hooks sitting there. So in that scenario where you start the unhook, the killer sees that they're going to try to interrupt it, and then you get out of the way and then get the unhook. The reason this can work and be really wonky is when somebody is on the hook by itself, they have a 360 degree of hitbox, and it's a huge hitbox. But when you're not hooking, the hitbox covers you. So if I'm standing right here, essentially, the hitbox will be covering a large portion of me, which is why when you're unhooking, you run past the hook and then try to unhook here. So the killer might end up swinging in and hitting the person on the hook instead, because they really have to go out of the way around and then hit you this way. So what you're trying to do here is you start the unhook, the killer will swing, and then when you let go, it makes the hitbox for the person on the hook bigger again, which will eat their hit. So essentially, while you're actually in the unhook phase, the hitbox for the person on hook is smaller, and the second you let go, it balloons big enough for them to possibly eat their hit, and then they go through the M1 cooldown animation when you can pick them off. It whiffed. Good fucking shit, we did it again. He got fucked over by the hitbox twice in the same game, and that really sucks. So just in case you hadn't known about that, that is definitely a little survivor trick you can do that can save the entire match from everyone dying in the basement. Now, the funniest part about the entire thing is if the person on the hook gets hit while you are technically in chase with the chase music playing and everything, and then you juke them and they get hit, they actually get blood points for a protection hit because clearly they did all the hard work sitting on the hook and taking the hit, right? And that's the best part of the entire scenario. Yeah, I keep forgetting to look. That counted as a protection hit.